And now welcome inside the Collins Arena as we get set for Jersey Blues basketball here on Brookdale TV. Brian Goudsworth, Tim Catalfamo here with you. The Brookdale men's team is up first tonight as they will take on Salem. And for the Jersey Blues, they're coming off back-to-back wins now for the first time this season to get to 4-5 overall. And Tim, I think the confidence is growing with this team after so many close losses early on in the year.
And that's really been a theme for both teams, quite honestly. I mean, Salem has had a lot of close losses, Brookdale as well, a lot of close losses on their side. But each team, I think, is starting to build some momentum, and as we go throughout the season, I think we'll start to see each team hit their stride. This should be a really good game, though. Salem has a lot of talented players on their side of the floor, a lot of players that can shoot the ball very well. As you mentioned, Brian, Brookdale with those couple of wins in a row trying to build some momentum.
And we're underway a little quicker than we thought we would be, but nonetheless, Jersey Blues basketball here on Brookdale TV. Brookdale with possession after Salem came up empty on their opening try. Ball in the hands of Carter using the screen. Three on the way off the mark, and it's picked up by Lamar Woody. Salem at 3-9 on the year, but they have been trending in the right direction. Winners of their last three after starting the year with 9 consecutive losses. Here is Whitaker, and he comes up with an air ball on a three, and back the other way, the Jersey Blues.
And as I mentioned in the open, this is a team in Salem that can shoot the ball incredibly well. They have a lot of talented shooters around the perimeter. So if you're Brookdale, you want to get off to a strong start and put some points on the board because this is a team in Salem that can score very quickly.
Ozoji, he's way off the mark, and these teams starting off well off on their jump shots, and we are scoreless a minute and a half in. Give you the starting lineups momentarily, as this is Stephon Fauntroy. Shot clock at 10 for Salem, ball way outside. Fauntroy dribbling. With 2 to shoot, the jump shot misses from the top of the key by Fauntroy, and here's DeAndre Smith.
Yeah, just didn't have enough spin on the ball that time. A good look for Fauntroy, but excellent defense there by Brookdale, going man-to-man, taking Salem all the way down in that shot clock.
Smith catching fire. He's got it. And he opens the scoring tonight, DeAndre Smith from three-point range.
And DeAndre Smith is one of those players on the side for Brookdale that needs to have a good night. He had a great night in the season opener against Camden. He had 14 points in that game, but since then has been pretty quiet. So we'll look to see if he can try to put some points on the board and help Brookdale in this game.
Ball movement. Woody can't get it to fall. And the rebound corralled by Ozoji.
Just some good looks for Salem, just nothing dropping so far.
Carter hits the three. Jelani Carter, Brookdale's second from long range.
And now that's 2 threes that Brookdale's been able to knock down. So if you're Salem, you're going to have to start coming out a little bit further beyond the arc to meet some of the Brookdale players that have been knocking down those threes early on.
6-0, 3 minutes gone by. And a turnover as Salem gets sloppy with it. 2-on-1 developing. Carter, the lob. Oh, the throw down. Beyon Willson. And Carter with a perfect lob pass. Salem needs to talk things over. That was a highlight.
And Salem just doesn't quite look in this game right now. It doesn't appear that they're on the same page on either side of the floor. They've given up some easy open looks for Brookdale, and on the other side on offense, they haven't necessarily gotten bad looks. They just haven't been able to hit anything. And we talked about Salem being great shooters around the perimeter, how they could put points on the board very quickly. Brookdale is a team, while they have struggled with scoring this year, if you give them the opportunity, they can go on spurts. And we've just seen Brookdale, to start out this game, go on an 8-0 run.
And we mentioned these are two teams that are headed in the right direction after slow starts to the year. Brookdale winners of 3 of their last 4 now. And as mentioned before, Salem currently on a 3-game winning streak, but they have started slowly on the road tonight and still looking for their first points. Eric Neal may have had it blocked. It's picked up by Willson. Feed it down low. Ozoji gets it to go.
And Ozoji is a player that Brookdale's going to have to utilize. He stands at 6'8". He's a freshman. He's a big target downstairs, and he's very athletic. So look for Brookdale to continue to use him. He's coming off of that really great game that they had against Rowan College of Gloucester County, where he had 23 points the other night.
Freeman is it denied. It's Ozoji, this time on the defensive end, the emphatic rejection.
And just not a whole lot of ball movement there on the side for Salem. You see Freeman go in. Ozoji is standing right there waiting for him, but Salem's got to move the ball around the perimeter just a little bit more.
Another block for Ozoji. It's loose on the floor and picked up by Maurice Freeman, and he scores Salem's first points of the night. And now Paul Chizek will counter with a 30-second timeout. 4 minutes gone by and a 10-2 Brookdale lead. We'll give you the starting lineup since we neglected to earlier. For Brookdale, it is Beyon Willson, DeAndre Smith, Jelani Carter, with Tyrese Bryant and Alan Ozoji, who's been active to start tonight. And for Salem, they go with Maurice Freeman, Stephon Fauntroy, Robert Whitaker, Lamar Woody, and Eric Neal. Great start for Brookdale, which is something that hasn't always been there this season. We've seen a number of games where they've gotten off to slow starts, fallen behind the 8 ball, and needed a big second half to rally.
And I think this was one of the best starts that we've seen Brookdale do all year, especially to open up a game. It's been very impressive. And again, I'm a little bit surprised because I was expecting this game, as you see Jelani Carter drill another 3 from the corner, but I was expecting this game to be something that was a little bit more closer, especially high tempo early on because of how well Salem shoots the ball.
Lamar Woody, it's going the other way, offensive foul. So Woody, the top weapon offensively for the Salem Mighty Oaks, which, by the way, is a pretty fun team name. And it's the first foul of the night. Brookdale looking to add to its lead. Ozoji hands it off for Smith. Beyon Willson tries. No good.
And that time Salem was in a man-to-man defense. Nice job staying in front of their defenders, forcing Brookdale a little bad shot.
Blocked by Beyon Willson, and Brookdale has a trifecta of blocked shots, not even 5 minutes in tonight.
Yeah, you're going to have to start using the shot fake or something because Brookdale definitely between Beyon Willson, who stands at 6'7", and Ozoji, who's 6'8". Those are two big bodies that you really don't want to go one-on-one with to the rim.
Here is Robert Whitaker, unable to hit. It's rebounded by Willson. Smith, a jab step, thought about it. Now he drives and scores. What a move.
And just everything falling right now for Brookdale. And for Smith, we talked about him having difficulty scoring this year. He's got 5 points so far.
And a 15-2 early cushion. Fauntroy gives up his dribble. Whitaker. Fauntroy for 3. And the rebound, Smith.
You know, Brian, we've only seen one personal foul, so if you're Salem, you really haven't had much time to rest.
Carter in and out. That time, Ozoji, the easy 2.
And just nobody there boxing out that time for Salem. Ozoji, we're going to be talking about him all evening long. That 6'8" body is going to be really tough to box out, but there was nobody there in front of him underneath the basket.
Salem really struggles rebounding the basketball as Fauntroy misses. Another rebound, Ozoji. Brookdale in business.
Looks like Salem's dropped into a 2-3 zone here, Brian, trying to force Brookdale to take an outside shot.
Tyrese Bryant, offensive rebound, Ozoji, again working hard, draws the foul. And that one, Ozoji, is a player who wasn't a part of things early on in the season, but since he's taken over, he's been one of the main contributors.
And he's really a big target in the post for Brookdale to go to. We've talked about his size. I mentioned earlier he's coming off of that game against Rowan College of Gloucester County on Saturday when Brookdale won 74-68. He had 23 points in that game, 10 rebounds. And he's not just someone that can play well in the post, Brian. He's got 11 made threes on the season. So the big man can get it done not only from behind the arc, but also inside the paint.
It's 18-2. What a start. Freeman misfires. Strong rebound handled by Carter. Callaway has come on for the Jersey Blues. Carter for three. Short. And Austin Smith lets it go out of bounds.
And I'm really surprised that Salem has not shot the ball better. I know that when you look at the record, you say, oh, well, it's a 3-9 team. That really is not indicative to their season. They have had several close losses to some really top-quality opponents within the region, but they just have not started all that well. The shots that they have aren't necessarily bad looks. As you see, Lamar Woody able to chip that one in from the foul line, but they're not bad looks. They just, for some reason, have not dropped, and the energy doesn't seem to be there either.
Here they get a turnover. Neal, a crossover. Woody is called on a travel. Substitution upcoming. Adam Kukai checks in. And Jelani Carter's gotten off to a hot start from three-point range to the bench. Mark Bruce in as well on the Jersey Blues side as they operate with a 14-point advantage. Bruce, pull-up jump. Offensive rebound. Kukai back up with it for two.
And Adam Kukai, also one of those players, very explosive from behind the three-point line, but he's a player that's very diverse. He can work inside the post area. He's got quick hands on defense, so a very talented player that Brookdale has on their side, the freshman from Staten Island.
And another turnover. Turnovers have been an issue for the Mighty Oaks. This season they generally do a good job taking care of the basketball, averaging under 14 a game, but here in the first half, they've had their share as Kukai, it goes down, and the foul. Chance at a three-point play. Got to look there at A.J. Williams coaching these Mighty Oaks, and he's rallied this team after what was a difficult start to the year. Three-point play, good. This is the best start for Brookdale that we've seen in any home game this year. It's Woody, tough shot, it goes.
Yeah, some unfamiliar territory for Brookdale. Every single game that they've had on the floor here at home and even on the road. We've talked about Salem's close losses this season. Brookdale really not that much different. They've had a lot of close losses as well, so it's unfamiliar territory for Brookdale. They're not used to having this large of a lead this early on in the game.
17 as it stands now. Willson posting, and he has it blocked. Woody was there defensively. Willson gets it back and puts it home.
It was a nice job there by Woody, able to block that shot, but you have to be able to stick with the play. Nice job by Willson following a shot. Even though he got it rejected, he stayed with it and he was able to get the rebound.
Neal is blocked by Ozoji. Back out to the perimeter and stolen by Willson. Brookdale has been the aggressor as Bruce misses tip and won't go. And the rebound, Neal.
Yeah, Bruce nearly got away with a palming call. Actually, I'm surprised that wasn't an up and down.
Fauntroy draws the foul as Callaway hit the deck.
Let's take another look. Actually, this is the block from Ozoji a moment ago. How many blocks, though, has Brookdale had in this game? It's got to be at least 6 already by my count.
And this is a team that has not been much a part of their game at any point this season, but they have come out flying tonight. Substitution, Alan Ozoji. Job well done out of him to the bench and replaced by Marvin Worthy. Fauntroy shoots it at 75%, and he's got a pair.
And that was only Brookdale's first foul in nearly 10 minutes of basketball, Brian.
And we know watching this team, that is not seen very often. That pass is intercepted, ill-advised. And intercepted on the other end by Carter. He's looking to push. Bounce it for Callaway. Can't finish. And it's out of bounds. Brookdale will hold on to it.
I tell you what, that was a beautiful lead by Carter. It was just a tad bit late. Callaway was a little bit too far underneath the basket to be able to make a play on it, but a no-look pass there from Jelani Carter, giving it off to his teammate just a tad bit late on that assist.
Bounce it for Carter. Going glass. Follows it up. Misses again. Tip back out for Whitaker. Fauntroy running the break. Misses. Lead Carter up the floor. And that will be negated as the ball was hanging on the rim, but Carter will get free throws out of it.
And just the energy is just not there for Salem. I'm a little bit surprised. Maybe it's the 5 o'clock start. Usually a lot of the men's games here in the Collins Arena are at 7. But the energy just has not really been there since the opening tip for the Mighty Oaks. They've struggled on defense. And Brookdale right now really, for the most part, has had their way, whatever they want to do as far as running their offense is concerned, and forced a lot of turnovers on the defensive side as well.
Carter gets the roll, 2 out of 2. It's all Brookdale in this first half, 27-8. Freeman, a fake. Driving, kick, Fauntroy, no good. And a loose ball foul underneath the basket.
That was a much better looking possession that time for Salem, being able to work the ball around, and then when that shot went up, Rob Whitaker, who's now going to go to the line because he was fouled from behind by Adam Kukai, is going to be rewarded with 2 foul shots, but a nice job working the ball around the perimeter and then having bodies positioned underneath to attempt to grab the rebound. That's been something that we haven't really seen too often in this first half, so better looking possession that last time for Salem.
And Whitaker connects on 2. That puts Salem in double figures in the point department, but they got a long way to go. Presses on. Brookdale beats it into the front court. Callaway makes his move into the paint, gives up his dribble. Kukai back for Callaway. His three-pointer is in and out, and the rebound Fauntroy. Freeman. Now Woody gets in the paint, loses it, but it's last touch Brookdale. And here come Firewagon changes as a whole new team is coming on the floor. It's probably easier to just leave it at that and then reset the lineup later. It remains with the Mighty Oaks, 11 to shoot.
And that's something also to keep in mind. Salem only has 7 players on their roster, so only 2 subs max for 40 minutes tonight.
Offensive rebound. Whitaker missed it on the inside, and Ozoji is on the rebound. Brookdale lineup is now Smith, Willson, Bryant, Ozoji, and Demir Fitch for the first time. Bryant driving baseline, hard move, and he throws it down.
And Tyrese Bryant trying to get up there to put 2 hands on the rim. Couldn't quite get there, but it still counts for 2. Nice move along the baseline.
Whitaker, and the rebound easily to Smith.
Yep.
Bryant called for steps.
Yeah. Bryant was going to try to do a repeat performance that time. Same spot on the floor, just got I think, a little bit too excited and wasn't thinking where his feet were and traveled. But here's that one. We'll give him a dunk there. I don't know if the hand really got on the rim, but still looked nice.
Salem, their last game was their largest margin of victory, an 86-73 win at Sussex. But they started slow tonight.
And
Shot clock's down to 10. Be out of bounds, 7 to shoot as Salem holds on.
And you mentioned that game against Sussex, Brian. Salem shot 45% from around the floor in that game, nowhere near the percentage that they're shooting in this first half.
Lob it out for Whitaker, 5 to shoot. Mighty Oaks have to work quickly. Whitaker fires, and it doesn't go. Another rebound, Ozoji. Ozoji steps out, and it comes up way off. Offensive rebound. Fitch denied by the rim, and he stepped on the end line out of bounds.
Yeah, good rebound there by Fitch, but he hesitated just a little bit too long underneath the basket. It's very easy to do because you're not really sure what you want as soon as you bring that ball down. Sometimes it's easier just to bring it down and go right up. Once you take a dribble, really everyone kind of swarms you underneath and there's nowhere to go. But, again, good ball movement there by Brookdale, just weren't able to capitalize on that opportunity.
Open look, Freeman off the mark. Offensive rebound. It's controlled by Troy Johnson, who's just checked in. Open look again for Freeman. Misses again. Another rebound for Johnson. Now driving is Freeman, and he scores. How about that? 3 opportunities, and finally the Mighty Oaks cash in.
And that's something that we have not seen so far in this first half. Salem actually drive to the rim, an aggressive drive to the rim that time by Freeman.
Here's Fitch, and he's called on a double dribble. Ian Felix along with Clarence Celius, both of them newcomers to this game. DeAndre Smith, Alan Ozoji to the Brookdale bench. 6.5 until halftime. Brookdale has led from the outset thus far as Fauntroy is blocked and picked up once again by Ozoji. What a first half for him. Brookdale holds on. But for Alan Ozoji, he has been everywhere. Felix driving, dishing. Willson misses. Willson follows and gets the roll.
Yeah, Clarence Celius and Willson kind of playing back and forth off of the rim, off of the glass, I should say, that time. Nice job by Celius and Willson.
Fauntroy one-on-one, using the screen. Stripped of the ball. Brookdale numbers it. They hurry 3-on-1. Felix for Celius, who gets it to go. Brookdale executing in the fast break.
And that's how Brookdale runs their offense. They like to push the ball up the floor, attack the rim, and get out and run. They haven't had to do that so far because the game has not really been indicative of that way. It's been a different style of play. It's been much slower, but that time you see how quickly Brookdale can move the ball up the floor.
Eric Neal is fouled. Let's see a second look as that ball didn't come cleanly out of the hand of Celius, but it worked just as well. Neal at the line now, the freshman from Claymont. This is a team that overall shoots very well from the free throw line, 75%. First one, no good.
Now, much like every other average that they have on paper, just it's not indicative of what we have seen in this first half. These are a bunch of players on the floor for Salem that have really great, incredible averages from around the perimeter, from behind the three-point line, on the floor overall, and just those shots have just not fallen tonight. It's been mind-boggling, I'm sure, for A.J. Williams, first-year head coach, and it's been surprising to me because I was expecting Salem to be able to really shoot very well. They just have not quite done that in this first half.
Full timeout on the floor. And there'll be one more free throw attempt coming on the other side of the timeout from Neal. We'll take a break.
City, New Jersey. I went to high school at Naaman Forest High School in Garland. I am studying social sciences, and I chose Brookdale to get my associate's degree.
Hola, mi nombre es Ian Félix. Voy a Brookdale y soy el point guard de Brookdale Community College. Soy de Clifton, me gradué de Clifton High School. Decidí Brookdale porque era lo mejor para mí, para mi futuro, y estudio business. Also, I can speak English, but it's kind of hard for me, so that's why I did it in Spanish.
My name is Jelani Carter. I'm a shooting guard here. I'm from Hackensack, New Jersey, and I went to Hackensack High School. I'm currently studying criminal justice here, and I chose Brookdale because I feel like the school will be.
Brian Goudsworth, Tim Catalfamo, the rest of our Brookdale TV crew with you tonight. First game of our doubleheader, and for Brookdale, it has gone as well as they could have hoped. 33-12 with 5:21 remaining in this first half.
And something interesting about this, I was just talking about this during the commercial break. Only 7 combined fouls total in this first half thus far. We still have 5 minutes to go, so that could easily change. But for Brookdale, you've only committed 3 personal fouls. Salem's only committed 4. It's been very fast-paced, not a whole lot of time to take a breath and to catch yourself sometimes, especially if you're playing from behind like the Mighty Oaks have been.
So Neal 1 out of 2. Presses on in the backcourt. Brookdale beats it, but then turns it over. Austin Smith. Whitaker. And the Brookdale's just been contesting every single shot. They have been relentless on the defensive side. As Celius well positioned. Brookdale takes it back. Double team. Celius with the left hand. Follow misses off the rim. Volleyballed up in the air and finally picked up by Neal of the Mighty Oaks. Neal, crossover, gets inside and banks it in. Nicely done. Felix splitting through, finds an open man, but unable to convert down low. Was Flurant, who's in for the first time on the Brookdale side. Fancy dribbling again, nice dish, and Whitaker missed the easy one. Misses on the follow, tries to control it again. It's back tap out for Felix.
Oh, what a move there by Neal, though.
And Felix draws a blocking foul as Freeman went down, and he's still down.
And Salem has had so many shots that have been high percentage shots just not fall in this first half. I don't think I've ever seen a team that shoots so well just not have the shots fall. And it's been frustrating, I'm sure, for a lot of the players on the Salem side. They just have not been able to get them to drop. This is not a bad shooting team. In fact, honestly, on paper, they're better than Brookdale as far as shots, as far as how well they can put points on the board, but it just has not been the way it's played out in this first half.
Felix 1 out of 2. He's got it back. He puts it up and gets the roll. Final 3:40 of the opening half. Neal gets it to drop.
And that's going to be, I think, where their offense is going to come from. Someone like Eric Neal taking a hard dribble inside, trying to attack the rim, and then pulling up for a quick jumper or trying to draw a foul and get to the line.
Floater from Celius. 38-17 Jersey Blues. We approach the 3-minute mark. Woody's been held in check thus far. And again, just well contested down low. Felix running all the way to the basket, running layup, and he's going back to the line.
And Ian Felix is one of those players on the Brookdale side that has really great speed. You can see that quick penetration to the rim. At times this year, he struggled with control. If you have great speed, especially if you're a ball handler, you have to be able to be in control. He's gotten better, I feel, as the season has gone along, and is someone that as a freshman, Brookdale can utilize in ways that maybe they can't use other players because you kind of develop that player as the season goes along. And Felix, one of those players that works very well, not only with Adam Kukai, but also with Beyon Willson, some of the guards, if you will. A lot of different players play different positions sometimes in Coach Chizak's offense, but he's been able to balance his play with some of his other teammates and has some really nice speed.
Felix, a 58% free throw shooter.
And you mentioned it, Brian. This is not Brookdale's strong suit at the foul line. They only shoot 52% as a team. As Felix, you see, misses them both.
It's a big disparity between these two teams, 52 and 75, respectively. It's an open look for Woody. They can't take advantage off the rim. Offensive rebound, and Whitaker is there for the putback.
And you're slowly starting to see Salem find the rhythm. The question is, have they let Brookdale get too big of a lead? Is it too much to come back from? They still have a whole second half to play, but trying to make up 19 points is going to be tough to do.
Still got out of the gate 18-2. Since though Salem found their footing a little bit, Celius misses on the inside, rebounded by Woody. Neal gets inside, hangs in, misses, and Celius the rebound.
Yeah, Neal got inside, had great position, thought about passing it out, and then at the last second decided to shoot, and that's why that shot was off.
Kukai short, and Whitaker is on it. Under 2 minutes now till the half. Woody, strong move, high off the glass, gets it to go.
And that probably should have been a foul there. That I thought was enough contact to draw the whistle, but nice job by Woody following through. As you see there again, looks like that was Fleuron who came in there from behind. Salem isn't out of this one yet. In fact, actually the last couple of minutes they've been able to keep pace with Brookdale, and for as well as the Jersey Blues started in the first portion of this first half, they've been kind of cold as of late, leaving that door open for Salem. If you're the Mighty Oaks, you want to try to get this to 15, maybe even below that before the end of the first half.
Here's Woody. Hits the three. Lamar Woody drills it. And it's intercepted. A 3-on-1 break for Salem. Dish it for Woody. And the easy layup. The Mighty Oaks are on a run, and Paul Chizak needs to talk things over.
And that's what we were expecting Salem to look like, creating turnovers, getting buckets in transition, and then an excellent three from behind the arc by Lamar Woody.
It's a 30-second timeout. And so if you're Brookdale, you don't want to lose the good feelings that you had early on in this half when everything was going your way. But as you mentioned, Salem now very much with the momentum.
And this is if you're in a situation like Coach Chizak is on the side for the Jersey Blues, you want to make sure that you don't allow the lead to diminish anymore. You've let Salem basically back into the game after some inerrant passes, some not so great looks on offense. And Salem has hit their shots the last couple of minutes. So if you're Brookdale, you want to just try to hold if you can, get to the locker room and try to reset. But you mentioned it, Mighty Oaks definitely have the momentum right now. And this full court press, I think, has been contributing to that partly because that's caused Brookdale to take some inerrant shots. You see there Ozoje being rejected.
And here's Woody. It's been hot lately. This one's in and out, and Ozoji cradles it. Brookdale numbers it, they hurry. Bruce on a bounce for Willson, the reverse layup. Much needed bucket. About an 11 to 12 second differential shot in game clock. Woody is fouled before the shot.
And again, I mentioned it earlier in the first half. That's only Brookdale's fourth team foul.
Normally in this situation, it's usually free throws this late in the half, but here, an inbound situation, it'll be Woody. Driving baseline, and he's called for a travel. They can't believe it. As he thought he should have had an and one opportunity. Instead, it's Brookdale basketball. Shot clock now turned off. Bruce forced to give it up. 10 seconds left. Under 5 now. Smith with 1 at the horn, and a possession that didn't go Brookdale's way. They couldn't get anything going, but they will hit the locker room in front, 40 to 26 on top of Salem. And as we get set to welcome you back inside with Brian Goudsford and Tim Catalfamo, this is a half that Brookdale has led throughout, but they've seen the lead dwindle early on in the half, everything going their way. So aggressive on the defensive side. Ozoji set the tone with his blocked shots. Carter making threes. But then as the half went on, Salem got back into this game.
And I think you're slowly starting to see what Salem is capable of doing, especially in those late stages of the first half. We know they're a very good shooting team. We saw some good looks from Lamar Woody from behind the arc, and you're starting to see that defense, especially with this full-court press that they've been giving Brookdale, cause some trouble for the Jersey Blues. So I'll be interested to see if they stick with that in the second half. If you're Brookdale, you still got yourself off to a great start, and you have a good lead at this point. You have a good cushion going to the locker room, but you've got to be able to come out the same way that you did in the first half when you come out in the second half, because I have a feeling Salem is going to try to make a run at Brookdale coming out of the locker room. They've got the momentum right now, and it would not surprise me in the least bit if Salem goes on a run here.
And Brookdale is trying to extend a season-high winning streak to 3 straight if they can get it done here tonight. At the break, it's 40 to 26, Brookdale on top. Tim and I will come back for the second half after the break. Mrs. Willson tried to follow it up, and Whitaker comes down with it for Salem.
And those two players, Ozoji and Willson, 6'8" on the side for Ozoji. Beyon Willson stands at 6'7". Those are some really tall figures in the paint that Salem, I don't think, has anyone on their roster that can really match up with them.
Blocked by Ozoji, yet another rejection. He is working on a career night in that department as Smith comes all the way back with the lefty layup.
And we talked about towards the end of the first half, Brian, how was Salem going to be able to answer? Were they going to be able to come out in this second half and go on a run? They had built some momentum towards the latter stages of that first half, as we see this long shot there by Woody. But so far, Brookdale's opened up with a lot of momentum. They've had a couple of blocked shots, and they've gotten some nice looks at the rim. So if you're Salem, you've got to hold tight here and try to keep yourselves in this game.
Turnover picked up by Neal. And now Neal will reset things. Guarded by Smith, using the high screen. Steps back for 3 and misses. Rebound to Carter.
That was nearly a moving screen there on Whitaker.
Tyrese Bryant on the wing. Shot clock at 10. Smith in the paint. A lot of contact, no call. And back the other way is Neal. Here is Fauntroy able to hit from 3-point range.
And just nice transition offense there by Salem. Great job by Whitaker on the side defensively for Salem, causing that turnover, so to speak, that blocked shot. Another turnover here.
And then Neal is fouled on a reach-in by Smith. So Smith, if nothing else, stops the fast break.
And we really haven't talked that much about Eric Neal. He's a very young player. He's a true freshman, but as head coach A.J. Williams was telling me before the game, he handles pressure really well and is one of those fantastic shooters that Salem has on their roster. He shoots around the perimeter at 50%. Now, that's not indicative to what we've seen from Salem tonight. Everyone's been struggling on the side for Salem, but a really talented shooter that we really haven't seen be utilized that much, as that's an N1 for Fauntroy.
So Fauntroy has scored 5 straight and a chance to make it one more. Ian Felix set to check in for Brookdale. And all of a sudden, this lead is down to 11.
Yeah, here's that run that we were talking about, whether or not Salem was going to be able to make. Slowly continuing to chip into that lead. Brookdale still playing great defensively, but Salem is on their way back into this game. They've been down by as much as 20. Now they're down by 10.
Brookdale has Carter, Bryant, Wilson, Ozoji, and Felix. Felix comes up short. Rebound Whitaker.
Yeah, it's just not a good shot there by Felix.
And which way will this go?
Going to be a block, I think.
Seemed to be a clear indication, but it is a blocking foul.
And I think that's a good call. You saw Felix there on the replay moving ever so slightly. I know that you'll say, well, he was in the restricted area. No, not quite. So I think a good call nonetheless by the officials.
Fauntroy gives it up. Freeman back out. Fauntroy again. This one's off the mark. Long rebound, Felix. Wilson collects and is fouled by Neal. So about 3 minutes into the second half, Brookdale has already picked up 3 fouls. That's the first against the Mighty Oaks. And 4, it's actually on Whitaker, and that's his second. Beyon Willson, the Jersey City, New Jersey native. And he's a bigger guard at 6'7", one of the taller players on this team, 2 out of 2 from the line.
Yeah, went to William L. Dickinson High School, 296 career points, 22 steals, and 17 blocks in his senior year. So a very highly regarded recruit on the side for head coach Paul Chizak.
As Woody has it knocked away, it stays with Salem. Woody to inbound. $15 on the timer. Fauntroy directing. Fauntroy using the screen. And his pass is knocked away by Carter. And now 5 seconds to shoot for Salem.
And that was a good screen that's set there by Whitaker. And then, of course, Fauntroy was able to utilize it. But the problem was when he got to the paint, there was no one there to give the ball off to.
Fauntroy with 3. It's blocked by Wilson. And 2 seconds now remain on the shot clock for the Mighty Oaks.
It's been a block party for Brookdale tonight. I cannot believe how many blocked shots they are contesting in this contest.
Salem has to work quickly inside, and missing is Neal.
It's going to be a walk.
And it's a travel call as Ozoji fell down with the basketball, and that's a violation.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Ozoji, and unfortunate there for Brookdale. You held Salem to a full 30-second shot clock, and now they've got it on this side of the floor for a fresh 30.
44-32. Woody. Nifty move, and he draws the foul. But all the effective scorers, something they have in common is the ability to get to the rim at will and make their living at the free throw line. Here's Woody, an 85% free throw shooter.
Yeah, averages around 22 points a game, 6 rebounds. Another one of those players that averages a 56% field goal percentage every time he steps on the floor. Has not been the storyline tonight, but again, Salem's hanging around. That's where they're going to be able to get back in this game. It's from the foul line, I believe.
Here they pick up the loose ball. Numbers if they hurry. Woody is going back to the line. And Paul Chizek is looking for an explanation. Chizek evidently dealing with some case of laryngitis. His voice not quite at its strongest.
Yeah, Coach Chizek also, as he was last week, wearing those athletic shoes in honor of Coaches versus Cancer Week, honoring his godfather who's going through some cancer. So he certainly wishes godfather well. But as I mentioned a moment ago, Brian, I believe this is where Salem is going to get back in the game. It's from the foul line. The shots around the perimeter have not been falling tonight, but they've had moderate success at the foul line. And for Brookdale, this is a team that has had foul trouble in different games, in past games this year. So if you can get Brookdale into foul trouble, you can really change the dynamic of the overall flow of the game.
4 minutes gone by, second half. The lead inside 10 points for the first time since the early stages tonight. Brookdale looking for an answer quickly. Bryant cuts to the basket. Bank shot doesn't go. And it's picked up by Fauntroy. Mighty Oaks looking to get closer. High screen Freeman.
He just lost it.
Fauntroy losing it as Brookdale makes a substitution, and it's Adam Kukai.
Really haven't talked too much about Adam Kukai tonight, Brian. In fact, actually, he spent the majority of the night on the bench, so been surprised by that. See if he can heat up here in the second half.
He's one of two who averages double-figure scoring as Carter is called for stepping out of bounds. So the ball to Salem. And this is a Salem program that had been inactive for the last 6 years. This is their first year back, and as we talked about, it was a very difficult start to the year, dropping their first 9 games. As there's a three from Lamar Woody, rainbow delivery, and he drains it.
And this is the closest Salem has been since, I think, the first minute of the first half.
Ozoji and another turnover. The sloppiness continues, but it's taken back in the backcourt by Kukai. Ahead is Ozoji, and he's mugged. So Ozoji to the line, a 55% free throw shooter. He shoots identical field goal and free throw. By the way, it's amazing to me for Brookdale that overall their field goal percentage is 44%. Their free throw percentage, not much better. I mean, they're almost shooting as well from the free throw line as they are from the floor.
Yeah, and that's just one of the reasons why Brookdale, we've talked about how many close games they've been in this year. If you were only to make maybe 5 or 6 more foul shots in some of those games, especially on the road, they would have 4 or 5 more wins. 4 of the 5 losses that Brookdale has had this year have been decided by 2 points or less. So when you don't shoot well from the foul line, you really make it tough on yourself because you're not giving yourself any free opportunities when you do get fouled and go to the line. So it's frustrating as a head coach. It's frustrating as a team when you just cannot make those shots that are basically freebies from the charity stripe.
Yes, 7 of 9 games in total been decided by inside 10 points, so they are no stranger to close games. Carter fires and knocks it down. Jelani Carter for 3.
Carter, one of those players that had 73 pointers at Hackensack High School in his senior year, so a player that's used to playing in the post, but he can definitely shoot that 3 ball.
Felix is uncontested for the layup.
That's a little 5-0 spurt there for Brookdale. They needed that because Salem was mounting a charge, and Brookdale back up by double figures.
51-38. Full timeout. We'll take a break. 13:56 remaining in the first game of our doubleheader here tonight.
Hello, hello. Welcome back to Brookdale. I hope everyone had an amazing, great summer and is ready to get back to the books. But before you do, we are here at the Involvement Fair right outside the SLC. There are tons of groups just waiting for new students, returning students to join, and tons of fun to have. Let's go check it out. Well, the Involvement Fair here at Brookdale is coming to an end, but it is never too late to get involved. To learn more about all these clubs that Brookdale has to offer, all these friends you can meet, and all these things you could do, please visit our website at brookdalecc.edu. I'm Sophia Perola with Brookdale Television, and we will see you next time.
Brookdale basketball on Brookdale TV. Jersey Blues in front by 13 over Salem. This is the first game of our doubleheader coverage here tonight. Coming up in approximately a half an hour after this one, it will be the women's game. And for Brookdale, the opponent will be Mercer, a Division II school paying a visit to the Collins Arena. And Tim and I will have the call for that one after this one is over. But still 14 minutes to go. Salem with possession. As Freeman has it blocked by Ozoji. And if you've heard that before, that's because he has been all over the place defensively. Kukai through the lane, missed it. And it's picked up by Fauntroy. Woody off the glass with the right hand. Lamar Woody has picked it up in the second half after a slow start. Mighty Oaks leading scorer. Ozoji. Around the perimeter they work it. Ozoji popped up in the air off the rim and rebound Woody.
Pretty good defense last few times down the floor there by Salem.
As Neal left it short, gets it back. Ball movement and Freeman, no good. Rebound Carter.
This is a team in Salem, Brian, that usually puts up 73 points a game. Just shows you how much both teams, I mean, Brookdale puts up 74 a game. Both teams have struggled, but Salem especially from behind the arc around the perimeter just cannot get shots that normally would be falling open looks like that. They just have not fallen tonight.
Neal. Fauntroy for Woody. 10 to shoot now. Woody, long three is way off.
Now, what you don't want to do if you're Salem is start chucking up threes. They were actually doing a very nice job moving the ball around the perimeter as Carter can't hit easy inside. Ozoji's going to go to the line. But what you don't want to do if you're Salem is start chucking up threes every time you go down the floor. They actually had some mild success working the ball around, attacking the rim, and drawing contact and going to the foul line. They've gone away from that the last couple of minutes. And time is starting to wind down. I mean, they don't have that much time left in this game. They've got to make a run at Brookdale at some point, and I just don't think the success and the way they're going to get back in the game is going to be from behind the arc.
Dave Calloway in for Brookdale, and on the Salem side, Troy Johnson checks in. Ozoji coming off a double-double effort his last game, 23 points, 10 boards, misses on the second attempt, and the rebound to Woody.
But I'm sure he had nowhere near the amount of blocks that he's had tonight. It's been phenomenal.
Freeman off the back rim, and Willson the rebound. Callaway all in one motion for Kukai, in and out on a three. Neal. And they call a travel, a bit of a late whistle, but a Mighty Oak turnover. Ozoji is being called to the bench. And it's Clarence Celius in for the first time here in the second half. Felix. Lob. Willson! Oh, a reverse finish. The second alley-oop of the night. And that one better than the first.
And that was a reverse two-hand throwdown, something you don't see too often. Wow.
Pull-up hop, Neal sticks it.
Beyon Willson at 6'7". We've talked about his height. He's been all over the floor. One of the guards going in for the rebounds many times for Brookdale. Showing off there in that last possession.
Willson, another highlight. It's a dunk party for Brookdale tonight. Between the blocked shots and the dunks, this game has about as many highlights as we've seen in any game. In and out on the shot from Woody. Celius has got it. And Brookdale into the front court with Willson. About halfway through the second half. And that's a travel on Celius. Substitution. Mateo Del Moral, little used, comes in for the first time. (58-42). Tell you, this game's good for the Sports Center top 10 list, as getting the roll on the jumper is Whitaker from the baseline.
You talked about Mateo Del Moro coming in for the first time in 6 games. He has not been on the floor for Brookdale for a while.
That's Kukai. He gets the roll.
And Kukai, we talked about him earlier, not having a explosive night, but has still been able to contribute. There's another foul there. This one will go against Brookdale, but definitely the momentum that was on the side for Salem at the beginning of the second half has now swung back to the Jersey Blues. And if you're head coach A.J. Williams, you've got to be able to figure out to try to get that back. Down by 16, it's a pretty steep hill to climb.
Cross court. Fauntroy fakes, steps into a two-pointer, and it's no good.
Yeah, there may have been some contact there. That's the second time Fauntroy has been fouled, or I thought he should have been fouled, and there was no call.
Celius smooth moves in the post.
And Celius is one of those players that's developing as the season goes along. We didn't really talk about him too much at the beginning of the year, but he's developed nicely coming off of that breakout game a couple of weeks ago against Atlantic Cape when he had 15 points.
Fauntroy got it for 3. (62-47). Callaway needs help. Celius posting up. A spin by Del Moral, but it's taken away by Salem. Woody.
Shots just aren't falling for Salem here, Brian.
Reach and foul, that's Fauntroy. Will be the team's 5th. Each side has committed 5 in the second half.
And, you know, it's frustrating for Salem because I really do think that they are one of the more underrated teams in the region. And I know that people are looking at the score and going, well, how can you say that? Because of the fact of how well they have shot the ball this year, how many close games they have been in. I mean, they have gone head-to-head against some very good teams. Middlesex, who's at the top of the Region 19 standings. They took them in a very close game. They lost by 8 earlier this year. They took Union to double overtime. They played close against Passaic, close against Cumberland, close against Camden. These are all good quality opponents in this conference. And I just think that they have not been able to, at times, pull out games in the end. That's evident by a lot of those close losses, but they're a talented team. They just have never been able to get off to a strong start. They did not come out of the gate very strong. And you see at this point, with 8 minutes to go in the game, still down by double figures. The shots just aren't falling. It's been a very frustrating night on the side for Salem.
Their 3-game winning streak on the line. Brookdale trying to make it 3 consecutive wins if they can get it done here tonight. And this has been one of their stronger outings of the year, unquestionably. As Paul Chizek huddled up with his group right there. Brookdale will be back in action once again on Thursday. That's a makeup of the Sussex doubleheader that was snowed out. Yes, snowed out in November. And for Salem, they won't be back in action until the new year, January the 9th. So this is their final game before a long holiday break.
And this will not be the last time that Brookdale plays Salem. They're actually going to play each other on January 16th. That'll be at Salem. So not too long from now, these two teams will be back at it again.
Outside the timeout, Brookdale basketball. Callaway bounces, and it's stolen.
Callaway had the right idea, just not a very good pass there to Celius.
And Woody missed it short on a foul called. It's on Brookdale. Woody the inbounder. Whitaker strokes it, and he's got it.
And he has really good form when he takes shots. Rob Whitaker, the 6'4 freshman, has good size and really good form. Just as we've been talking about, we sound like a broken record. Just those shots have just not fallen for Salem tonight, but when they have, you can tell some of the talent on this side.
Beautiful give and go. Callaway connecting with Kukai. Austin Smith has checked in for the Mighty Oaks. Woody finds a man, and it's Whitaker for the easy 2.
And I was just going to say, I'd like to see Salem try to get something inside the paint. Nice pass there from Woody to Whitaker.
Under 7 minutes now, and a 12-point game. Felix, a running layup, banks it in.
Sometimes you had to be lucky and good there for Ian Felix. What a shot.
Ball movement, Whitaker. Off the mark that time, Kukai the rebound. Callaway shoots a 3. Celius had it for a moment, and it's picked up by Felix. Second chance opportunity, feeds Callaway, and lays it up and in.
Great hustle there by Felix, not giving up on the play, going after that rebound and finding Callaway for an easy layup. And Brookdale, as of late, has dropped into a 2-3 zone, changing up their look.
Woody hits the floater. Woody, an impressive freshman, averages over 22 a game, stepping in front for the steal, Whitaker. Salem looking to push, but it's thrown away. And now a whole slew of changes coming in on the Brookdale side. Beyon Willson, Alan Ozoji, DeAndre Smith, Jelani Carter, basically the starting lineup.
And this is another thing that I think we mentioned earlier in the first half. Fatigue also could be playing a role in Salem's performance, especially as we get later and later into this game. They only have 7 players on their roster, 2 maximum substitutions at a time. So a lot of these players playing a lot of extra minutes for Brookdale. They can substitute an entire new team on the floor if and when they choose to.
Smooth jumper from Carter. Woody comes back, count it, and 1. And for Lamar Woody, a chance for 3.
I don't know if I like that call on the floor for the officials. I know that there was some contact, Woody going to the rim, but he really kind of lowered his shoulder there on Ozoji. I know that Ozoji hadn't set his feet, but can't just lean into it, guys. So I'm surprised that went in favor, or actually went against Ozoji there on the side for Brookdale.
Kicked out by Neal. Brookdale looking to go to one game over the 500 mark here at home and 500 overall as they came in at 4-5. Ozoji too strong. He's got his own rebound and then loses it. And a foul to stop the fast break. Called in the Brookdale back court. It'll be their 7th. Or their 8th, excuse me.
You see Coach Chizak looking on there from the sidelines, was talking to him pre-game. Really, his keys to the game are trying to attack the rim. That's been Brookdale's MO this year. Get to the rim and score. If you can't score, at least draw some contact and get to the foul line. I think he's fairly pleased. I know that certainly the turnovers have been a problem for this team this year, but I think he's fairly pleased with his team's performance so far.
Austin Smith will get another attempt. Dave Calloway, meanwhile, now with 4 personal fouls. 2 out of 2 for Smith. And a timeout taken. 5:15 left to play here tonight in a 12-point Brookdale lead. We'll step aside here on Brookdale TV. Come up on 5 minutes to go. Brookdale trying to hold on. They've led throughout tonight. Willson for Ozoji, stripped of the ball, picked up by Carter, and he banks it in.
And I've been really impressed by Beyon Willson tonight. Not just his shot blocking abilities, but his ability to give it off and assist some of his players on the floor, especially finding Ozoji and Carter. Those two have been 2 players that Beyon Willson has helped out tremendously tonight with his vision.
Ozoji rebounds the Woody miss.
And I think it would be wise for Brookdale. I know Salem's going to try to pressure, but I think it'd be wise to try to use some clock here as Willson another throwdown.
The highlights have been aplenty for Beyon Willson.
You want to use some clock even though you have a big lead. Try to reduce the amount of opportunities that Salem has to get back in the ball game.
12 to shoot. Freeman into the lane and a travel. Reset the Brookdale lineup. They have Calloway, Smith, Willson, Carter, and Ozoji. In front, 74-58. That's a foul on the pass. Calloway on the floor with 4 personals, but here he draws it. Willson, and it's going the other way.
And I mentioned a second ago how nice of a job Beyon Willson has done tonight, giving it off to some of his teammates. In that situation where he got the ball, he would have been better off just going hard to the rim. He's in great position. All he would have had to do is just flick it up there. He had nobody around him, trying to be a little bit too unselfish there that time down the floor.
Whitaker. Smith pushing. Smith all the way. And as it knocked away from behind. Troy Johnson in now for the Mighty Oaks, and he replaces Austin Smith. Carter for 3. Yes! Carter hasn't shot a great percentage from three-point range, but he's not shy about shooting. He'll keep putting them up there. And he extends to a 19-point Brookdale lead.
Yeah, I mentioned that stat earlier in the game. That standout star from Hackensack High School had a lot of threes in his senior year. So he can definitely shoot that 3 ball.
Zoji ripped down the last rebound. What a game for him on the defensive side, blocking shots and rebounding. Brookdale has had many guys tonight chip in on the offensive end. It's been Probably their best overall effort of the year. That's Ozoji. Nice find from Callaway.
And we talked about earlier in the game, Brookdale's not used to being up by this amount of points. I don't know if the clock should have started. I don't think Salem had touched the ball there, but they're not used to being up by this many points. So many of their games, either on the road or here in the Collins Arena this year, have been close. It's unfamiliar territory for them.
Long rebound, Carter. He's got an eye up at the rim. Good defensive play by Freeman.
And win or lose tonight, you really have to credit the defensive effort from players such as Alan Ozoji and Beyon Willson. Those two have been all over the place. We've talked about their shot rejections, their blocks, the way that they've helped out their offense. Done a really solid job leading Brookdale in this home game tonight against a pretty good team on paper in Salem that just hasn't shot the ball well from the opening tip.
Laurent comes up short. 2 minutes to go now. Salem had a couple of runs throughout this game, but they've fallen behind of late, and it's too little at this point as Smith misses. And the Mighty Oaks will get another opportunity. There's Ozoji. Comes off a season-high total as far as scoring, but tonight, blocked shots and rebounds, he was invaluable. Whitaker posting up, turns around. Rebound Willson. Lead pass for Del Moral, who could not catch it cleanly. So Brookdale on its way to hitting the 500 mark. Right now they sit 11th in the region standings, but that has been on the rise of late. After a slow start to the year, they started losing 4 of their first 5 decisions. Whip it over to Del Moral. His jumper doesn't go. The Brookdale bench was ready to explode. But the cleanup from Marvin Worthy.
Yeah, Del Moro looking for some of his first points on the year, trying to get on the stat sheet.
Long rebound, kept alive by Woody. But it's Brookdale basketball. Jersey Blues get set for a date with Sussex on Thursday. And then they will have their holiday break. Won't be back underway until the new year after Thursday's affair. And I think top to bottom, this is the kind of effort that Paul Chizek is looking for from his group, and he got it tonight. Del Moral, and the tip-in from Worthy. Shot clock turned off now. Whitaker is open. Offensive rebound, and the putback from Johnson. And now Brookdale can run out the final 10 seconds if they can hold on to the ball. Alley-oop try hits the glass. And now 3.4 until this one is official. Women's game comes your way next. It'll be the Jersey Blues taking on Mercer. Another stiff challenge for the Jersey Blues ahead of them. But Brookdale takes care of business here tonight. The final score, the Jersey Blues 83 and Salem 60. As Salem sees their 3-game winning streak come to an end. Brookdale gets to the 500 mark at 5-5 on the year. And this one of their strongest efforts of the season top to bottom as they led from the outset. And they knock off Salem here tonight. So we welcome you back inside with Brian Gadsford and Tim Catalfamo. And Tim, really from the outset of this game, there was just a different energy level that I don't think we've seen in games past from Brookdale, setting the tone early and just all over the place on the defensive side with blocked shots. It was a total team effort tonight.
Well, they definitely came out with a lot of momentum. I mean, that's definitely first and foremost. Brookdale shot the ball incredibly well. They got off to that really big lead. And Salem, I just never really feel was in this game. They started to get back into their rhythm late in the first half, but at that point, Brookdale had opened up such a large lead. It was going to be a very tall order for them to get back in this contest. So a tough loss for Salem, but a big win for Brookdale against what I feel is one of the more underrated teams in the Region 19 Conference. So a big win for the Jersey Blues tonight.
And once again, the final score is 83-60. Brookdale gets the win. That'll do it for the first game of our doubleheader here tonight. So after a break, Tim and I will come back for the women's game as the Jersey Blues will take on Mercer. Stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching right here on Brookdale TV.